We are a group called the Urgency of Now, and we all met at school in Montreal. And in one form or another, we all studied climate change. And being in school in Canada, we heard a lot about what was happening on the forefront of climate change in the Arctic, because that's where changes are being seen today. And so by the end of our degree, we studied economics of climate change and the history of climate change and the politics of climate change. And by the end of this 4 years, we all were thinking, oh my God, the world is in this crazy climate change crisis. What are we going to do about it? And so, since we are young people and we're not politicians and we're not very wealthy, we decided that we were going to approach the problem from another angle. And we were going to use our voices as young people and our power to be idealistic. So, and our legs, a lot of legs. And so we chose to bike across the country and to talk to folks as we went along, and especially try and talk to other young people to get the news about this problem out.
So we've been doing presentations in a lot of different cities around the country. We've done them everywhere from farmers markets to eco-villages to university classrooms to junior high school students to elementary school kids. So it's become a very dynamic presentation, and we've realized that because this is a problem that everyone needs to face, internationally, nationally, little ones, big people, we've tried to adapt the presentation so that everybody can realize how this problem is affecting them and how they can affect this problem. It's much more of a solutions-based presentation, so we go over a bit of kind of climate change science and the most recent climate change science that's come out, so we can kind of get everybody on the same page and understanding that it's a problem of today and these are the things that are connected to it. But it's mostly a presentation about what you can do in your own backyard and what a lot of people across the whole country are doing. And so we talk about some of the people we've met along the way, and we talk about everything from growing your own food in your backyard to riding your bicycle.
And what happened is, after 4 years in a classroom, we designed a presentation that one would imagine people who'd spent 4 years in a classroom might design. It was all about, the economics of climate change, and carbon dioxide comes in from this angle and does this, and it was a bit dry. We had a sort of a dry reception to it in the beginning, and as we continued to bike, this really amazing thing started to happen, and we began to meet all these people who were living the solutions that Shannon is talking about. And so our presentation began evolving from this thing about national policy and the science of climate change, and to look at the collective action that exists, and look at this person. Like we met this person right here, and they're doing this thing, and it allows people's imaginations to run wild and see that there are people out there who are solving this problem. And that's when this motto came to us, and the motto for our trip is, a good crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And so we're taking this crisis that we learned about in school and thinking about, how do we turn this into an opportunity?
It's easy. I mean, it's easier than you would necessarily anticipate it would be, and it just takes a little bit of hard work and some supporting comrades and some stops for ice cream or whatever it is to keep us going.
And the United States is so beautiful. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Nobody told me. It's gorgeous
and
everywhere we go. Yeah.
Very diverse.
Yeah.
Something that we keep seeing is just the kindness of people, and really renewed our faith in all of humanity.
Biking is a really incredible way to see the country and see all the beauty that it holds, and it's also an incredible way to see firsthand all the destruction that's happening. So, it's a way to see how Hurricane Katrina wiped out entire towns. We thought we were going to be riding this 100-mile day with towns every 15 or 20 miles. One of those was an actual town, because the rest had been wiped out.
And also to see what people are concerned about, I think, has been really surprising to us, because a lot of it has to do with climate change, whether or not they know it. I mean, all coming down the West Coast, everybody we talked to in every town talked about the water shortage. And even coming down south in Alabama, people were talking about water shortage. Yeah, in Texas, there's a huge drought as well. Our experience in the U.S. has been very unique, and for whatever reason, we have met all these people all along the way who are gardening and composting and recycling and getting rid of their cars. You name it, we've met people who are doing it. However, that is not representative of the United States as a whole, unfortunately. And the trip was conceived with the name The Urgency of Now because there is a discrete time period in which this climate change problem, it will be too late to fix it. And one quote that we like to share in our presentations is by Rajendra Pachauri, who is the head of the IPCC, the International Panel on Climate Change. And what he said, I believe, several years ago was that if there's no action for 2012, that's too late. What we do in the next 2 to 5 years will determine our future. This is the defining moment. So the trip was, the name of the trip was inspired by a Martin Luther King quote. And the quote goes like this. We are now faced with the fact, my friends, that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late. Procrastination is still the thief of time. We often find ourselves standing bare, naked, and dejected with the lost opportunity. The tide in the affairs of men does not remain at flood. It ebbs. We may cry out desperately for time to pause in her passage, but time is adamant to every plea and rushes on. Over the bleached bones and jumbled residues of numerous civilizations are written the pathetic words, too late.
So we are The Urgency of Now!
Dun, 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 dun.
And you can find us on www.
TheUrgencyOfNow.us.
Yeah, if anybody sees this YouTube video and wants to come with us on the trip, check out the blog and find out where we are and give us a call.